and Adhiranjan denied to be the part of committee. Okay, now there are 5 questions upon this ethical dilemma, and I posted those 5 questions in my workshop public group or the workshop telegram group, and I think you are well aware of those questions. I have the answer of none. I will discuss it with you. As you all know, I am enriched by your knowledge only. I don't have my personal opinion in any case. So please, who want to talk to me? What is one nation, one election? What are 4 or 5 pros which government is claiming? And what are 4 or 5 cons for which the opposition is apprehending? Okay, just give me the answer. Who will give me the answer? Just raise your hand. If you have a hand of God over you, then please tell me the answer. Yes, amazing. You are not audible. Just remove this audio. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, say hello.
Hello.
Yes, audible.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Sir, basically, one nation, one election, it is a concept of holding the Lok Sabha and the state assembly election together. So it is basically this committee has made to to think on this, how we can take the whether we can take the election together or not, and the committee has set up those who are in a favor of the in making the one nation one election. They are trying to convince the people that there are always in the some area of the country there are always our elections are going on. So many of the police department and other government activities are going on, and that is why there is a lack of development. So there is one reason behind that. Another reason is that uh, there is a lot of cost is whenever we conduct the election, there is a large number of cost. That is the cost effect is the second one. And in the those who are opposing that, they are trying to say that there are large number of states in those who have conducted the election recently, that is around 2 months, 4 months or 6 months. So it is just impossible to take the election again, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very good. So as you know, the year 2024 will become the election year, not for the general election, but for most of the states. There are some elections before June 2024, along with June 2024, or just after June 2024. So the government is thinking of conducting all the state or assembly election along with the general election. And now the government wants to follow the full constitutionality of any kind of proposal. That is why the HLC has been made, high level committee. HLC, high level committee. The concept needs to be debated mainly around 5 issues. If you have pen and paper, then you can note. So the concept needs to be debated mainly around 5 issues: financial cost of conducting elections, cost of repeated administrative freezes, visible and invisible cost of repeatedly deploying security forces, campaign and finance cost of political parties, and the question of regional and smaller parties having a level playing field. Okay, you can see the chat box if you have missed any of the points. So what is the background of simultaneous election? As you all are aware of, that the first general election occurred in our country in the year of 1952. Is my small information correct? Is my limited information correct? Okay. The idea has been around since at least 1983, when the Election Commission first muted it. However, until 1967, it was the naturally simultaneous elections were the norm in India up to 1967, because there was no collapse of any assembly until that. So each after 5 years, the general elections along with the state elections were happening. They were aligning side by side. Okay, until 1967. The first general election to the House of People or the Lok Sabha and all state legislative assemblies were held simultaneously in 1952. That practice continued in 3 subsequent general elections held in the year 1957, 1962, and 1967. However, due to the premature dissolution of some legislation assemblies in 1968 and 1969, the cycle got broken or disrupted. Okay. In 1970, the Lok Sabha was itself dissolved prematurely and fresh elections were held in 1971. I think you know the reason. Thus, the first, second, and third Lok Sabha enjoyed full 5-year terms, but later that it enjoyed the partial part of the 5 year term. So as a result of premature dissolutions and extension of terms of both the Lok Sabha and various state legislative assemblies, there have been separate elections to Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, and the cycle of simultaneous election has been disturbed. Okay, and it has been disturbed since then. Okay, now the national reformer of the country has thought that there should be done something. उनके जीते जी कुछ किया जाना चाहिए. तो क्या? And there is one person in India who is always ready for election, whichever state in it is. That is Mr. Amit Shah. He is the Chanakya of election. Opposition has made one very large group, I.N.D.I.A. where India has separated by 5 dots. Now, the government of India is thinking that yes, there must be playing some maneuver, some tactful event, constitutionally. So there is an argument for simultaneous election, because Niti Aayog paper also says that the country has at least one election each year. Actually, each state has an election every year too. In that paper, Niti Aayog argued that multiple elections incurs many direct and indirect disadvantages. So whatever I'm talking to you related to advantage and disadvantage, it has been given in the Niti Aayog paper. And now the committee has been made how the advantageous can be more than the disadvantages. Just because of that. So the first thing is incalculable economic cost of election. Why one nation, one election has been proposed? The first thing is incalculable economic cost of elections. Incalculable. If I want to explain it, directly budgeted costs are around rupees 300 crore for a state the size of Bihar. However, there are other financial costs and incalculable economic costs. Each election means government machinery misses out on their regular duties due to election duty and related work. Even the security staff, police staff, army staff, paramilitary staff, even the school teachers are deployed in such activities. I'm thankful that coaching teachers are not involved. otherwise जज्बात बदल जाते. These cost of the millions of man hours used are not charged to the election budget. Yes or no? It means resource mobilization is going waste. And also indirectly, it will not help the economy anyhow. It will just deteriorate the position of economy. Because as you all know, the more the expenditure is, the less will be the saving. And the less will be the saving, the less will be the investment. And there is inverse relation between investment and interest rate. The lower the investment, the higher the interest rate will be. It means purchasing power will get lessened and lessened day by day. It will be curtailed. And if purchasing power is going less, it will eventually increase the inflation and unemployment and ultimately increase the economic concept stagflation. And nowadays, the country is observing or suffering from jobless growth. Yes, we are observing growth, but it is jobless growth. You can see the vacancies in CHSL, just 1650, 1650. In the previous CGL, there were 36,000 plus vacancy. It means the government needs 37,000 inspectors, but below or under them, they need just 1,600 clerks. Is it a logical thing? It means the government is not ready to give job to everyone. Jobless growth is there. It's because of useless expenditure. And Mr. Modi, who hails from a very poor background, wants to curtail the useless expenditure after 10 years. Okay? Is my point okay? Are you getting the politics behind this and the economics behind this concept? I want to teach you everything, though it is usable or non-usable in your interview perspective. I want to open up your mind so as you can scale up to any kind of argument. And this topic will be the chief topic during your interview. Promise. I'll promise you. And they will connect you with your state. If you hail from any non-BJP ruling state, then 100% you will get this question. Because directly or indirectly, BJP will get the benefit out of this. Otherwise, this kind of promulgation would have been implemented just earlier, before much time earlier. Okay. Second reason is policy paralysis. Because when elections are announced in any state or in the country, model code of conduct is imposed. Yes or no? And model code of conduct also affects the government's functionary, as no new significant policy can be announced and executed after the elections are announced. Yes or no? So the Indian government, the NDA government wants to implement many of their policies so that 3 farm bills can re-executed again without being repealed. And every time they have to repeal any bill just because of the elections next time or in the next month or in the next year. Did you know that during the 3 farm bill laws, just before the Punjab election announcement, government repealed those 3 farm bills? Yes or no? The positive point is policy paralysis. Just to avoid the policy paralysis, government wants to do this. But what is the politics behind this? Have you encountered? Are you aware now? Okay. Now the third and last point is administrative cost. Is the session necessary from my side as far as my responsibility related to interview plus current affair is concerned? Okay. So don't expect the notes now from now on. Just be available with your live mind. I will be available with my live content because everything is present digitally. But now I will teach you, I will train you how to utilize the all information together as far as your interview questions are concerned. Not your GK point of view or your mains answer writing question. No. The third and the last point is administrative cost. There are also huge and visible costs of deploying security forces and transporting them. Okay. A bigger invisible cost is paid by the nation. Please listen to me very carefully. A bigger invisible cost is paid by the nation in terms of diverting these forces from sensitive areas and in terms of the fatigue and illnesses that repeated cross-country deployments bring about. Yes or no? It is like doing the Tughlaq. Have you heard of the name Tughlaq? Who uselessly deploy the army and his operational heads from Delhi to Tughlaqabad to Delhi. Yes or no? Shifting of the capital. So our next capital of India will be Ahmedabad. If the current Tughlaq will make this announcement. No, not like this, not like this. It may be Gandhinagar also. Okay, not a big deal, not a big deal. Okay, so shifting the security personnel from sensitive area. We have three sensitive areas. JKL for militancy, Northeast for insurgency, and Red Corridor for Naxalite. And if you are replacing or shifting the security personnel from these three areas to any such area where elections are occurring, then invisible cost is there. If in their absence or due to the lack of personal security personnel in that specific sensitive area, risk prone area, if something would bad happen, then who will be the responsible? Nobody takes the claim of the responsibility, but there is invisible cost. Okay. What are the arguments against simultaneous election? The first point, which all the parties of opposition are afraid of, federal problem. Simultaneous elections are almost nearly impossible to implement, as it would mean arbitrarily curtailing or extending the term of existing legislatures to bring their election dates in line with the due date for the rest of the country or with the general election. Yes or no? But now the government is in the mood that he has to implement it. They have to implement it anyhow. So Govind is writing, sir, I don't think that it is your responsibility or obligation on you. It is you who are doing this for us because you have this great dedication and commitment for our selection. You are doing more than you have promised. Your efforts are commendable. Thank you. Thank you so much, Govind. Thank you so much. You are the only one among all 43 candidates who has observed such kind of affinity, such kind of empathy for me. Thank you so much for from the core of my heart. Otherwise, all the rest of the students are so professional. Okay. No, not a big deal. Second argument against simultaneous election. It is against the spirit of democracy. And BJP is also against the spirit of nepotism. Critics also say that forcing simultaneous elections is against democracy because trying to force an artificial cycle of elections and restricting the choice for voters is not correct. Yes or no? The third point, which is the major point for non-BJP ruled states, regional parties will be at disadvantage. Regional parties are supposed to be at a disadvantage because in simultaneously held elections, voters are reportedly likely to predominantly vote one way, giving the dominant party at the center an advantage because always the dominant party at the center claims during the claims during the campaign that every voter must choose the double engine government. And voters are very easily get mobilized through that, and they keep voting for the same party for their state as well as for the center. And this is how the party in the center will at the benefit, but the parties in the state will be at the disadvantage. Okay. Now the fourth point, which must be the last point from my side. Nowadays, triple engine, governor is also there. So this is not a new case. Governors are always assigned or appointed by the central government. Always. The fourth and the last point is diminished accountability. Diminished accountability. Having to face the electorate more than once every 5 years enhances the accountability of politicians and keeps them on their toes. And if the politicians are engaging themselves in campaign just once in a 5 year, then there will be less accessibility of them towards people, and less accessibility, less responsibility, less accountability, and the lesser will be the level of democracy. Yes or no? Because democracy is for the people, of the people, and by the people. So it is obvious that the constitution and other laws would need to be amended for implementing simultaneous elections. However, it should be done in such a way that it doesn't hurt the basic tenets of democracy and federalism. And this must be your last line when you want to conclude, whether you want to support it or reject it. During your interview, you just have to support it. But not without the suggestion. You have to give the suggestion or conclusion. In this context, the Law Commission has suggested an alternative, categorizing states based on proximity to the next general election and having one round of the state election polls with the next Lok Sabha election and another round for the remaining states 30 months later. But there is still no guarantee that mid-term polls would not be needed. Yes or no? And the HLC will take care of these things. And to remain the sanctity of the democracy, the leader of the largest opposition party has been taken in the consideration in the 8-member committee, but he has left. He has announced to leave the committee. First point of argument or against? सर आर्गुमेंट तो सारा ही मिस कर दिया, लेट ज्वाइन करा, कोई बात नहीं, I'll give you the points. So India is a diverse country with numerous states, each having its own political dynamics. Coordinating simultaneous elections can be logistically challenging. Implementing one nation, one election would require constitutional amendments, which can be a time-consuming and politically sensitive process. So don't you think it may create upheaval or hue and cry in the country if it is implemented? Yes or no? So doesn't it? So isn't it be considered the point of concern for Intelligence Bureau? Yes, and if it is a point of okay. So sorry. So here comes some question, some piece of questions related to one nation, one election, ethical dilemma based question. So I have generated 5 questions for you. Have you all practiced? Have you read them out? Okay. The first question was, the central government is actively pushing for the one nation, one election initiative. As an election intelligence bureau officer, how would you assess the potential security challenges and risk associated with conducting simultaneous elections across the country, and what steps would you recommend to address these challenges? Okay, who want to give me the answer? Yes, Sumit. You will be given the chance on first come, first serve basis. Yes, Sumit.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So first of all,
I liked your comment where you mentioned that you are the corner for us.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, that we have a large force of intelligence officer to manage the election related security challenges. So large number of intelligence officer required to manage that for that. And it
Yeah.
also increases indirectly cost to the intelligence bureau.
Very good. And
So that's it.
that's it. This is what you do as an intelligence officer. You will assess the potential security concern. Okay, not a big deal. Yes, Mr. Chandru, then I'll come to Mr. Malik.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, with respect to one nation and one election, sir, basically we have to give the info regarding the. I think with respect to the security assistant perspective, I'm giving my answers, sir. Apart from my hobbies, sir, with respect to this kind of situation, we have to give the proper ground reality situation as well as the political consideration has to be taken into account. What kind of the nature of the state and what are all the potential security threats which the state is facing, and what would be the impact if there is a local level coalition between the political parties like regional parties as well as the national parties, and also try to replicate their agenda as well as the people's mindset via the intelligence information, sir. And I also responsible to do the possible implications. What are the possible advantages and disadvantages which could be happen if the laws are implemented and the
It means
elections are
your
to be
higher
conducted.
officials are not aware of that.
Sir, we are the authenticated primary source giving persons.
Very good, very good.
So in this case, our responsibility is to collect the as much information as possible and give the most authenticated informations and be them informed very well.
Very good. Very good. Any other point you can think of?
Sir, I don't know, sir. Up to this level, I can able to think.
Okay, not a big deal. Hi, Lakshay, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I think if the whole nation has the election on the same time, we have many challenges that we will need to overcome to make the elections run properly. Sir, the first one is, as the Sumit mentioned, is the if the whole nation will have the election on one time, we need the large personnel, whether they are the CAPF or intelligence personnel, to maintain the peace and law and order in the whole country. And sir, I think with the whole election coming on the same time, there will be many fringe elements in the society who try to disrupt these elections by causing various methods like booth capturing and other they will try to create riots in the states to disrupt this. So third is the influence of external powers on the election, as we know that today's era is of information warfare, and there are various easily accessible social media who can easily able to manipulate the youth towards a certain party that we will call it. They can use the agenda politics and all that. So it's also a major challenge, sir. I think, and the last one is cyber security, sir. In this, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, we need to create some of the threat assessment related to cyber security, and then we only then we can make the elections conduct successfully.
Very, very good. Very good. Oh. Assessing the potential security challenges and risk associated with conducting simultaneous elections across the country is a crucial task for an intelligence bureau officer. Here is how I would approach this and the steps I would recommend to address these challenges. The first is regional sensitivity analysis. Because you are on the ground, so you cannot give the layman answer or the very broad answer like we have been taught for writing mains examination. Okay. So local sensitivity analysis. Conduct a comprehensive analysis of different regions states and union territories to identify areas with a history of political violence, communal tensions, or insurgent activities, understand the unique security dynamics in each region. Like you have heard that in any election of West Bengal, even at the local level, there might be the killing of 50, 100 people on an average in any kind of election. Yes or no? It means there are some specific states in India which are violence prone area, risk prone. Then second is threat assessment. Evaluate potential threat from terrorist organization, extremist group, and other anti-national elements and assess their capabilities, intentions, and potential targets during the election period. Currently, UP does not possess any kind of such threat because in the last 5 years, Baba has done many things. Bulldozer Baba, Mr. Yogi Adityanath. Ajay Bist, do you know Ajay Bist? It is the real name of Yogi Adityanath. Ajay Bist. Ajay Bist. Okay. Sometimes from the people or the candidates from UP, this question may be asked, who is the CM of UP? Sir, Yogi Adityanath. No. What is his name on the election chart? Ajay Bist. Oh my God. The third is cyber security analysis. Recognize the growing threat of cyber attack and electoral infrastructure, voter databases, and communication networks. Collaborate with cyber security agencies to assess vulnerabilities and develop protective measures. And also social media monitoring. Keep a vigilant eye on social media platforms to detect and counter misinformation campaigns, fake news, attempts to manipulate public opinion during elections. Yes or no? And all these 3 points, second, third, and fourth, can be done in any kind of election, whether it is simultaneous election or the unique election. Okay. But what are the recommendations from your side? So the question was asking two questions. What are the assessment and what are your recommendations? So for recommendation, the first point is increase intelligence sharing. Increase intelligence sharing. You have to strengthen collaboration with other intelligence agencies, state police and law enforcement agencies to share timely and actionable intelligence, establish a unified intelligence sharing platform. Second is security deployment. Ensure adequate deployment of security forces in sensitive region. Formulate contingency plans to respond swiftly to any security incidents. The third is vulnerability assessment. Conduct regular assessment of election infrastructure, including polling booths, transportation routes, and electronic voting machine, EVMs. Implement security measures to protect these assets. These are the keywords, valuable keywords, which you can use in your answer. Okay. The fourth is cyber resilience. Enhance cyber security measures for electoral system, focusing on intrusion detection, incident response, and public awareness campaign regarding safe online behavior and social media usage. 5 is public awareness. Educate the people about the importance of election security, where they have to travel and take the holiday during the election day. No, not like that. Educate the public about the importance of election security and the consequences of engaging in unlawful activities. Promote a sense of civic responsibility. Then community engagement, just to avoid the communal tension. Okay, community engagement. Foster or strengthen community relation and engage with local leaders and influencers to prevent and address potential communal tensions. And nowadays, social media influencers are influencing the polling system or polling pattern of any state or election? Yes or no? 10 years back, I know that Hollywood or Bollywood stars are called in the elections. But nowadays, YouTubers are called in the election. Have you heard of the name Big Boss? Salman Khan, Big Boss. उसमें जो पर्सन जीता है सिस्टम भाई का राव साहब का सिस्टम ओए मंजूर आ रहा समझ चलो मॉक ड्रिल mock is very necessary and giving mock to me is very necessary, but along with this mock drill is there. Conduct security drills and simulations to prepare security personnel for various scenarios, including handling protest, handling riots, and handling cyber attacks, physical attacks as well as digital attacks. Okay, mock drills for both. Next is continuous monitoring. Establish a 24/7 monitoring center to track real-time development, election-related incident, social media trends, utilize advanced data analytics for early warning system, international collaboration. Oh my God, why? Collaborate with international intelligence agencies to gather intelligence on potential external threats or influences on the election process because Manipur violence was aggravated by the PLA. Yes or no? And also the European Union, some of the members in European Union. Yes, do take care of this. I have the clear-cut information, not intelligence. It was published in some national dailies. Okay, do take care. And also, if there is election in Punjab, not only Pakistan, but the country like Canada, USA, Britain, UK, yes, UK. Thank you, Chandra. Yes, Raj Shammi and Ranveer Arabadia. Even Piyush Goyal recent podcast on YouTube. Yes. So you have to collaborate with international intelligence agencies. Otherwise, give the whole responsibility to Mossad. Or give the whole responsibility to me and Chandru. Okay. Now, post-election analysis. Conduct a thorough post-election analysis to identify security gaps and lessons learned for future elections. Whatever elections which have conducted up to date, this date, you have to take care of all the failures and learn from them and take the solution-oriented approach from now on. Okay. And Ranveer Allahabadia, I think he has been called in the national summit organized by Mr. Vivek Bindra as an entrepreneurship summit where Mr. Khan sir is also coming on 23 and 24th of September. It means they are uncashing their image of being YouTuber. So in summary, as an intelligence officer, I would employ a proactive and multifaceted approach to assess and mitigate security challenges associated with one nation, one election. This would involve close coordination. Take the keyword, close coordination, intelligence sharing, implementation of comprehensive security measures to ensure the integrity and safety of the electoral process. Okay, just tell me everyone, how is my answer? First question, how is my answer? Just do comment it in the chat box. And then I must have the second point of concern. What have you learned from this answer? Only the answer or the approach of the answer? Okay. It means you have got the approach of the answer. It means out of the 5 questions, I have created and prepared only one question for you. I don't have answer for any of other questions. Trust me. So from now on, I want to discuss it with you on. This is how your balanced and tactful answer should be. Okay. Okay, take the look at second question. So look at the second question. You received intelligence indicating that certain political groups and organizations are opposing the one nation, one election plan and may resort to civil unrest and protest. Yes, it might happen. And trust me, if Intelligence Bureau will not give the proper information, then approximately 2 lakh people would be killed in the next month. Two lakh people. But yes, IB is nowadays headed by Mr. Tapan Deka, who was the special director during the revocation of Article 370 in Kashmir. And he was taking the charge of Kashmir issues at that time. And during the repealing of Article 370 in 2019, not a single news came related to violence and crime. Yes or no? It's because of our high power intelligence done by Mr. Tapan Deka. And that is why he has been made a director. Okay. So we have been, the country is nowadays guided by Mr. Tapan Deka. We are thankful to him, and he will give the central government all the proper intelligence so that any kind of losses of lives would be avoided or escaped in a time being. Okay. So please look at the question. How will you approach the question? Just take the 60 seconds. Until then, I will take care of the concern who has given me the comment in the comment box, so that all these 10 people will get a special benefit in the next ethical dilemma based question. Okay, okay. All these 10 people will get the link, none other than that. Okay, thank you. So how would you go about monitoring and assessing the situation to ensure the law and order are maintained while respecting citizens' right to protest? Is it ethical dilemma? On one hand, people are right to show their unrest by protesting against the government, but on the other hand, government is also right just to quench the unrest, suppress the unrest. Yes, I want the answer from Mr. Kishore Patil. Are you available or are you in library? You are in library, I think. Yes or no? Just nod your head. Yes, yes, yes. Though it is fade, but I realized through the background. Okay. Give me the answer. Just raise your hand. Tamil Selvam. Those whose cameras are on will be given the chance only.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, of course, the people have the right to protest, but not in a in violent ways, sir. So we have to monitor who is organizing the protest, and then and then we have to analyze the uh, social media posts, and then so that we can find the can I take few seconds time, sir?
Yes, yes.
So, okay, sir. During this kind of situation, we have to closely coordinate with the law enforcement agencies and gather intelligence at the ground level, sir, so that we can find the uh, what kind of protest they are organizing, and also background of the organizers, so that we can efficiently convey our intelligence to the law enforcement agency, so that they can prevent the unrest arising from the protest, sir. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, Bharat, sometime you become Naveen, sometime you become Bharat.
Sir, it's my brother's mobile, sir. I
No
don't
problem,
have
no
a
problem, no
mobile.
problem. Just give me the answer, not the explanation of the live.
Okay, sir. Sir, here we have an keyword that political groups and organizations, sir. So those political groups and organizations are the main source of misnomers, sir. So we need to just identify them, and we must cross-verify each, sir, whether they are involving in such activities or not. If they are involving in such activities, then we should inform to our higher officials or to the district police, so that they will curbing those political groups and organizations, sir. If we are curbing these political groups and organizations, then the main conflict will be avoided, sir, so that peace could be maintained in that area, sir, without um, making civilians to suffer, sir. Because civilians are innocent people, sir. These political groups and organizations are the main source of crimes and violence, sir.
Very good.
So if we are addressing these two groups, then the peace could be maintained in that area, sir. This is my answer.
Okay, the last candidate I must choose, Mr. Govind. And this question is important for you. This will be asked to you, yes or no, because you have the
Yes.
political experience.
यस सर थैंक यू सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर सर इसके लिए एक तो सर हम सोशल मीडिया को मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं कि क्या चल रहा है इस टॉपिक के रिगार्डिंग दूसरा सर हम जो प्रोटेस्ट होने वाले हैं उन प्रोटेस्ट की जो परमिशंस ली जाती हैं तो जो गवर्नमेंट से परमिशंस ली जाती है उनके लिए एक स्पेसिफिक जगह डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कितने लोग आएंगे वो डिसाइड कर सकते हैं उनसे सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं ताकि बहुत बड़ा वो ना हो पाए कुछ ऐसा कुछ ना हो पाए जिससे सिविल अनरेस्ट या जैसी कुछ कोई चीजें हों इसके साथ साथ सर हम कम्युनिटी के साथ कम्युनिकेशन एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं कम्युनिटी एंगेजमेंट हम कर सकते हैं कि जो भी लोग हैं उनके साथ जो कम्युनिटी है उनके साथ बातचीत की जाए और उनको जो प्रॉपर एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है गवर्नमेंट का इसको लागू करने के लिए वो उन तक कम्युनिकेट किया जाए जिससे कि सर उसको प्रिवेंट किया जा सकता है जो होने वाला सिविल अनरेस्ट है उसको प्रिवेंट किया जा सकता है
Good. Okay, so monitoring and assessing a situation involving potential civil unrest and protest against the one nation, one election plan while respecting citizens' right to protest is a delicate task for an intelligence bureau officer. Here is how I would approach this situation. First, collect and analyze intelligence. Collect intelligence from various sources, including informants, social media, open source information, and to understand the scope, intention, and capabilities of the protesting groups, at which level or extent they can reach. Then take care of the threat assessment. Assess the level of threat posed by the protesting groups, including the potentials for violence, property damage, or disruption of public order, or the loss of lives. Then take care of the legal framework. Ensure a clear understanding of the legal framework government governing protest including the rights and responsibilities of protesters and law enforcement agencies. Anyone in our country can do peaceful protest. But if they are violating the rule of law, then they must be castigated by the law enforcement bodies. Respect citizens' right to peaceful assembly and free expression given in Article 19. Liaison with the stakeholders. Now, here the responsibility of IB officer comes. Establish communication channels with the local law enforcement agencies, government officials, and protest organizers to facilitate dialogue and cooperation. Take care of risk mitigation. Develop contingency plan to manage potential risk associated with protest, including crowd control, traffic management, and emergency response. Medical emergency response, police emergency response, paramilitary emergency response, and military emergency response. Okay. Proactive engagement. Engage with protest organizers in a constructive and non-confrontational manner to encourage peaceful demonstration and seek common grounds. Educate the public about their rights and responsibility during protest, and utilize intelligence to identify individuals or groups with a history of violence and radicalization. But this is the interview for security assistant. You don't have so many rights to do everything. Just include one point from your side. Ask and seek advice from the or suggestion from the higher official. Okay. Ninth point in the same question. Monitoring and surveillance. I have 16 points for this. Use surveillance and monitoring techniques within legal boundaries to track protest activities and assess any potential threats to public safety. Train law enforcement personnel in crowd management and de-escalation techniques to minimize the use of force and promote peaceful resolution. Maintain rapid response teams capable of swiftly addressing any emerging threats or incidents during protest. Develop a clear and transparent communication strategy to keep the public informed about the status of protest, road closure, and safety measures. Take legal action against individuals or groups engaging in violence, vandalism, or other unlawful activities during protest, while ensuring due process and protection of human rights. What are the after action review? Conduct a thorough review to assess the management of protest, identify areas for improvement, and update protocols for future events. Facilitate mediation and conflict resolution efforts to address the concerns of protesting groups through peaceful means. Benchmark against international best practices in managing protest to ensure a balanced and lawful approach. Because nowadays, after G20, India will be having a greater responsibility to maintain and retain the democratic ethics within the country. We must take care of this thing to retain and maintain the sanctity of the democratic values. Why? Because we don't want to be advised by the nations like China that India should keep its internal matter okay. Otherwise, they will make fun of us. The goal in such a situation would be to strike a balance between maintaining law and order, safeguarding citizens' right to protest, and preventing any escalation of violence or unrest. A proactive and intelligence-driven approach coupled with effective communication and conflict resolution can contribute to a peaceful resolution of such conflict? Like European Union commenting on Manipur. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now come to the third question. Now come to the third question. Read it out with me. The central government has requested the Intelligence Bureau in gathering information about the political landscape. Yes, it is well known that Intelligence Bureau has been directed by the central government do some intelligence gathering work. Ramnath Kovind committee will do their work, but IB has to take care of its own work. About the political landscape and potential alliances in various states as part of the One Nation, One Election preparation. How would you plan and execute this task while ensuring the accuracy and confidentiality of the collected data? This is a state-based question. I am giving you the generalized answer, but this is a state-based question. If you hail from any state, one second. So if you hail from the state like Maharashtra, we have the coalition government. But indirectly it is governed by BJP, indirectly. It is supported by BJP. But in states like Bihar, Nitish Kumar is CM, but nowadays it is supported by RJD. It is non-BJP. So you have to take care of the concern about the potential alliances in various states. And this third question is chiefly dominated be asked to the students of the candidates from non-BJP ruled states. Okay, like Tamil Nadu, like Kerala. Okay. Like Delhi. Okay, now come to the third question. And this will be the last question for today from my side. Okay, so who will give me the answer for third question? So don't give me the answer, just I am giving you the potential answer. I have 20 points. Okay. I have 20 points. First, define the objectives. Clearly define the objective of data collection, including the specific information required about political parties, alliances, key players, and their strategies. Then identify the reliable sources of information, including government reports, publicly available data, credible news outlets, and confidential informants within political circles. Then assemble a team of trained and trusted intelligence officers like me, who are well versed in political analysis and information gathering. Yes or no? Whenever you are choosing a member for the, whenever you are choosing the member for the intelligence bureau team, then that member should have a special keen interest in politics. Otherwise, if the person is very much interested in technological advancement, then how will you use it in political arena? Yes or no? It means those students who have the special hobby of state politics must be chosen in this respect. And indirectly, I am indicating Chandru. Sir, every time you do like this, Okay, risk assessment. Conduct a risk assessment to identify potential threat to our data accuracy and confidentiality, including leaks and infiltration. Develop strict protocols and procedure for data collection. Recruit and manage confidential informants within political parties or organization who can provide insider information. This is very, very important. Sixth point is very important. Cross-verify information. This is general point. Use secure communication channel and data encryption. This is also a general point. Okay. Now come to the next point. Need to know basis. Need to know is an important term used in intelligence bureau. During your training time, you will be given 7 days training program from joint director, and he will give you all the keywords and their explanation. And he will just use these keywords only. I will give you the list of those keywords in the next session, so that during the training, you can say to the joint director, don't teach your father, I'm your father. For such content, theoretically, but practically, I don't know. Yes or no? And practically, they do have many experience of telling a lie. What IB has to do? Just tell a lie and gather the information. You don't have to disclose your identity. Yes or no? And for this, you have to escape from the truth. Okay. Then continuous monitoring, reporting mechanism, confidentiality agreement, counterintelligence measure, legal compliance, quality control, information sharing, periodic audit, secure storage, data destruction, training and awareness. I think all are generic point. You can frame the answer yourself now. Now, how about this topic? Please tell me in the chat box, everyone. I want the comment from every side. Now you know what is one nation, one election. What are the pros? What are the cons? How this question can be diplomatically dealt. And if any question comes from the purview of ethical dilemma, how should it be dealt? Yes or no? Is there anything beyond you can think of as far as becoming interviewer? एक इंटरव्यूअर की तरह सोचते हुए क्या इसके अपार कुछ सोच रहे हो? Lakshya, where are you today? No, the session is excellent. But what about the consideration of the extent to which I have conducted the session? This is not a very generic session you can find on YouTube that just insert 4 keywords, one nation, one election, and you can get very good video from any YouTuber and you just watch it and have it. No, it is just beyond that. It is specifically made for Intelligence Bureau interview only. And that will be helpful not in special security assistant, but also in the next month, which vacancies are coming for ACI. Okay. Brainstorming, much needed, much needed. Diversified answers are great. We know how to attend SRT, but the keywords and strategic organization points given here are useful to represent ourselves as an organized manner, like officer, not like a layman. Very good, Kishore. Yes, sir, you are helping us to frame our own answer for other questions. Very relatable, up to the mark. You cover all aspects. Your research and answer level are top class, sir. No need to look anywhere else. Perfectly tailored one, sir. Sir, third question answer very detailed and very similar to the job profile of security assistant. It can be used in many SRTs answers. Yes, those who wish to get what is the role and responsibility of security assistant in the last lecture given by Mr. A, please look at the answer of the third question. This is what you have to do. 100% you have to do this, because I have a limited experience of this department of 3-4 days. That is why I can say so. I have limited experience of 3-4 days during the training. I started teaching them during the training, and they debarred me from the training. That go and make the badge. Don't become the teacher outside. It's no. It is not a factually correct thing. I must correct you. I have been associated with Mr. Ajit Doval. Ajit Doval and me were batchmate in school. Okay, so just have the tendency to listen to the lies. And we have now the tendency of listening to lies in the previous 9 years. So useful, excellent answer. All aspects of questions related to topic are covered. Now I have a basic idea about one nation, one election SRT question tactfully. Top of the world. Sir, session contain every aspect of attribute, threat, challenge, solution. Day by day, more interested to engage your classes, especially situational based question with your answer. Amazing, sir. Please continue more session, ethical dilemma. Yes. I'll take the sessions every Sunday. Yes. Next Sunday, I will cover all the weekly news along with their ethical dilemma questions. We will take 2 questions from each news. One for classwork, one for homework. Is it okay? Sir, cannot access old recording. Samir, it is not the big problem. You can access the old recording. Now you have become Mossad, sir. You have personnel in every department of MHA. SRT and you, sir, make us to think tactfully. Okay. Thank you, sir. You are really helping us for more than you have promised and more than we had expected. The person who has capacity to make thousands of capable and dynamic IB officers should teach and mold them than being an officer. That's why we have you as a torch bearer in our journey. We are blessed. Aaj ka homework. Should I give you the homework, today's homework? So question number 4 and question number 5. Question number 4 and question number 5 are your homework. Literally, it is your homework. I have not prepared the sample answer. Trust me. God promise I'm saying so. God promise I'm saying so. But, if you want me to create the answer in the next 1 day or 2 days, then I'll create. Because to conduct this session also, I have taken 24 hours. Okay. Did you know the topic of the ethical dilemma just before conducting the class? Yes or no? No. You were just aware of ethical dilemma based workshop will be there, or the next part of the workshop will be there. Okay, the 4th question is, while investigating potential security threat related to one nation, one election, you come across information suggesting that foreign entities might attempt to influence or disrupt the electoral process. If you say your hobby is geopolitics, then they will connect the geopolitics with home politics, with current affair, with contentious issue. And this SRT will be framed. Yes or no? Oh my God. Oh my God. Shall I share these all questions with the IPS officers of Intelligence Bureau who are going to take your mock interviews? Not mock interviews, only interviews, real interviews. I should share it. Comprehensive approach, how to answer such question and what are the possible point in that type of question. Really helpful. Now I'm able to approach relevant answer for such type of question. Kapil Raman, thank you so much. Okay, okay, okay. Like Cambridge Analytica or Russian agencies in Trump winning. Yes, yes, yes. Please do, sir, so that we can score better. Okay. Sir, we can use these keywords not only SRT, but also give our other question to show the confidence and relevant keyword just to show that we are the capable candidate for IB. Yes, 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 yes. Sir, I have one friend working in CM House for social media marketing team of BJP. Can I use some insights info during my answer? Yes, you can do. And also give the reference that one of my friend is there, because high officers like those candidates who have the already made license in such critical areas. Okay. Okay, the fifth question is, the central government has emphasized the importance of a smooth transition to the one nation, one election system to minimize disruption to governance. What strategies and recommendations would you propose to ensure a seamless and secure electoral transition while safeguarding democratic values and principles? I think this is connected to first question. Okay. Now the languages are different, but broadly you will have the same kind of question. You can take the reference from upper three questions. Oh ho 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 oh ho 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 oh ho ho oh oh ho 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 oh ho ho oh ho ho Did I take this session? Facial expression? Yes or no? Just say yes or no. Okay, thank you. So I have a dream of only one thing, not giving 500 or 600 selection. But I have a dream of one thing, that whatever I do in my life, that should be excellent. That should not be good or better. That should be excellent. That should be superlative in nature. That cannot be imitated by anyone. And one who is imitating in a very short term must be discarded by the people. Why you are imitating that person? And I think you have noticed or observed one thing. I think Shambhu can tell you better, because in 2021, he was in my ACIO interview batch. He was in my ACIO interview batch. And yes, he can discover that how I have evolved my content. Trust me, I have read more than 18-19 psychology based books. I have read 5 books related to facial expression only. Then I have been able to recognize the micro expressions. Yes or no? So like an intelligence officer, always you have to learn from your mistake. So out of my 1800 students last time, only 973 were selected. I had 1800 students, and out of them, only 973 were selected. I was able to give approximate 50% of the vacancy. But on the other end, I must also ponder over the situation. 50% of my students got failed. And I totally took the responsibility on me, just in a thought, to me. And again rethink that, how should I change my approach? Yes or no? In 1800 students, most of the students were not serious. Most of the students were not have taken part in the interview because they have joined some other department. Some of the parents have rejected or denied their interview. Don't go to interview intelligence bureau. It is very, very much horrible. So there must be some concern from some students. Yes or no? Not always a teacher is responsible for your success or failure. Sometimes you, your family background, your ecosystem is responsible for your success and failure. I'm just as Kishore has just told, I'm just the torch bearer. How the question may be asked and how you have to approach it. Okay. Are you in? Oh, you are at home.
Yes, sir.
So always I feel lucky when you are at home. I get the chance to speak with you, talk to you. Otherwise, if you are in library, then you minutely say, "Sir, I need library." Okay, just tell me, Nirupa, when did you join the session today?
Actually, I was late, sir, because
Yes.
I am very busy in the morning. I have to cook.
Okay, how was your Onam?
Yeah, it was very good, sir.
Okay.
And I came back to Trivandrum for preparing.
So, did you do second question or third question only?
Actually, I started watching your from your first question answer. So I watched it.
Okay. So, Nirupma, can I ask you one personal question?
Yes, sir.
Are you in favor or against of one nation, one election? Don't be diplomatic. Just give me your answer. Just call a spade a spade.
Sir, actually, if I have to say in one word, I am against one nation, one election. Because the only thing I feel good about this one nation, one election is mainly this economic cost and all. But the people or the citizen has the right to change their candidates. So if you are conducting
So
this elections,
so there is not one EVM for, not there will be a single EVM for Assembly and Lok Sabha election. There will be two separate EVMs.
Yeah, there is two separate EVMs, but if you're conducting it as a separate state election and a central election, we can analyze.
It means that Congress or the opposition party may accuse that the people are not literate or educated. They cannot take their firm decision. It means it is the mistake of the Congress party who has ruled 70 years or 60 years on the nation and retain and remain the people illiterate.
Yeah, but I don't. Yes, sir. But if you
I want such kind of argument with you so
yes,
that
sir.
we can evolve a better answer in a conclusion. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you just have to contradict me and I will contradict you. This is a debate between you, we both. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you comfortable?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay, fine.
Sir, the only thing, what I feel is like, if you are implementing this, we have to analyze the background things also, because first one, you already said that the literacy thing of the people. And we have to address that thing first. Then only we can adopt such a big initiative in this country. And next one would be the infrastructure for the election. And still we can see so many issues while conducting elections. So if you're conducting this one nation, one election, huge infrastructure and huge manpower and huge technology is needed. And I don't know whether it has fulfilled, whether our country has fulfilled those things. So, so we should not go like a demonetization we have faced. Because while implementing demonetization, we have faced so much of issues due to the lack of initiatives by the government or the other things. So if you are implementing this thing in a whole country, we have to first implement the background things, then only we should implement such a big thing.
So we can use the recommendation given by Law Commission.
Yes, sir.
Law Commission has recommended that a few states must be taken in the next general election, and in the next general election, other states must be taken, so that the alignment could be done in next 10 years, not immediately in a single year.
Yes, sir. That I understood, but there would be by-election issues, sir.
No problem, no problem. Every state must be given the prerequisite knowledge that yes, this is the term for 2.5 years only, and then you will be reselected and re-elected by the people. It would be promulgated by the president or governor of the state. Constitutionally, it would be done. And that is why the induction of Subhash Kashyap was there in the 8-member committee, because he is the constitution expert. Do you know the Subhash Kashyap?
No,
Just
sir,
go and Google. Just go and Google Subhash Kashyap just after the session. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just look at the history of each member of the 8-member committee. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Don't look at COVID-19, sorry, Ramnath Covid or Amit Shah or Adhir Ranjan. Just look at the other members who are not so much famous, but intellectually they are very, very strong. Intellectually, they are very strong person who support BJP anyway.
Sir, there is another issue also that while conducting this one election, one nation, one election, the union government or the ruling government has a very stake on this state election. So that is one major issue.
Can you repeat this point?
This ruling government of the union India or the country will have a stake on this state election also. They have a upper hand on the state elections.
Yes.
So there are chances that the winning of the central government.
But central government can say that if we have the stake of winning the election in every election, then why we have lost election in Himachal and Karnataka?
Sir, but this is the probability only. Yes, sir. Because
okay, this is the cross argument. You have to just find the answer for every argument. And once you are out of argument, just do surrender in front of interviewer. Otherwise, you become a personality with dispute.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good, Nirupma. Very good. You understand somewhat Hindi?
No, sir. I am actually, sir, I want to ask you one thing. If they ask me my weakness, can I say that I am weak in Hindi?
It is SIB based in interview.
Yeah, but I feel that I should learn Hindi because so many classes, or if we have to travel out of this Kerala or Tamil Nadu, we should know Hindi. Then only we can thrive in that places. So I feel that Hindi is very necessary even for South India, Kerala or Tamil Nadu. I feel that everybody should understand Hindi, at least understand
I think, Nirupma, I think the state governments of Kerala and Tamil Nadu must become somewhat liberal to induct Hindi as an optional subject in school or college or in their summer vacations, so that some part of other languages must be taught. it will make you
Sir,
more,
sir, sir,
it
sir,
will
1
make.
minute. And my phone is getting
Okay,
off
okay,
now.
okay.
Can I take just 5
Okay,
seconds to charge,
okay, okay.
get it charged?
So that the people of Kerala and Tamil Nadu will become more globalized. And then it will create one more possibility that one day in future, the Prime Minister from Kerala or Tamil Nadu would come. Yes or no? Because chiefly in India, there are people who speak Hindi. It means every time a Prime Minister is chosen, he must know Hindi along with his regional language. Otherwise, he will not be a people friendly. Yes or no?
Sir.
So please become more liberal. State governments must become more liberal. And yes, trust me, the Tamil Nadu government and the Kerala government are the most conservative government in India. They even cannot tolerate even a single movie.
Sir, I
Kerala
don't think.
stories.
Yeah, Kerala story. Yeah.
Yes, it is the concept actually. The name of the Kerala has been used. There was a movie. Udta Punjab. Udta Punjab. Have you heard of the movie Udta Punjab? The word Udta means flying. Flying means Punjab was or is or has been suffering from drug issue. And whenever you take drug, you feel yourself hallucinated, flying in the sky. Yes or no? So that is why on the context of drug, peddler, drug dealing, drug import and export from Pakistan and China, the movie has been made. And the word Punjab has been used. But Punjab did not criticize the movie for using the name Punjab. So be like Punjab, be liberal like Punjab. Operate the terrorism from Canada. Okay, thank you so much.